Yeah, hello, welcome. It's Andy. It's the Daily Rant, and we're ranting on today about vaccines and COVID-19. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, and like, share, and comment. If you want to get in touch with the program, email me freedomtalkradio2013 at gmail.com. Hope you're all having a great winter's day. And it's wet in England apparently today, 1st of December. Not far now before the big man comes down the chimney. Right, serious subject, COVID-19. Well, we do know that very importantly and very shamefully, really, that the toxic and chaotic culture at the heart of the UK government during pandemic inquiry finds all four governments failed to appreciate the scale of the threat posed by COVID-19 or the urgency of the response. The pandemic required a damning published report on Thursday, it claims. Yeah, so we basically had all four governments not really taking it seriously during the pandemic in 2020. So apparently, if they'd shut down earlier, they would have saved thousands of deaths. Anyway, Baroness Heather Hallett, the chair of the inquiry, described the response to the pandemic as too little, too late. Tens of thousands of lives could have been saved during the first wave of COVID-19 had the mandatory lockdown been introduced just a week earlier. Noting how a lack of urgency made a mandatory lockdown inevitable, the report references modelling data to claim that there could have been 23,000 fewer deaths during the wave in England. The UK government first introduced advised restrictions on 16th of March 2020, including self-isolation, housing quarantine and social distancing, with harsher measures and mandatory lockdown for midnight on the 23rd of March. That's very true. Um, and this bit makes me rant. Health chiefs accused of a cover-up after failing to reveal data that may link the COVID jabs to the deaths. So basically, have a jab, have a death. Um, yeah, so British health chiefs have hit back after choosing not to release data that could link the COVID vaccine to excess deaths. Last year, a cross-party group of 21 Ps and peers, including Reform MP Danny Kruger and Conservative MP Miriam Cates, expressed alarm after growing public and professional concerns over the UK's rates of excessive deaths since 2020. In a letter to the Health Security Agency and Department for Health, they claimed that data mapping when Britons received COVID vaccine doses to the date of their deaths, had been released to pharmaceutical giants, but had not been publicly released. The letter was organised with the campaign group Us For Them, who requested that the data um, be released under freedom of information laws. But the government health body argued that publishing the data could lead to misinformation. How can it lead to misinformation if it's the truth? Cover up. That would have an adverse impact on vaccine uptake by the public. Oh, right, okay. So if you don't tell the truth by publishing the figures that people really did die, then it might scare people off from taking the vaccine. Vaccines are not good for you. I've had vaccines. They're linked to autism, definitely, but that's another story for another day, I guess. I mean, some peer review studies that say, the pattern of the problem appears within the first couple of weeks after the jab. So you basically you get the jab, and it says the leading cause of the deaths after jab within 2 weeks is sudden cardiac arrest, 35%, pulmonary embolism, 12.5%, myocardial infarction, 12%, vaccine-induced immune thrombotic, 7.9%, myocarditis, 7.1%, multi-system inflammatory syndrome, and cerebral hemorrhage. The myocarditis, I believe it's a thing that makes your heart race. Well, I had my jab, and within 2 weeks, my heart was racing. It did eventually calm down, but yeah, it was scary. Also, I believe personally that this COVID vaccine, mRNA, is linked to cancers as well because of that year after having the jabs. I did actually have a kidney cancer, and the doctor surprised me by saying, that's been there 10, 20 years. It could have lasted another 10 or 20 years, but it's not, so we've got to get it out. Thought nothing of it, actually. But really, when you look at it, and you look at the evidence on the internet, COVID-19 can wake up cancer cells and actually give you the cancer, or at least wake it up. Yeah. Now we've got Dr. Fauci, the former chief medical advisor to the president of the US, has been accused of orchestrating a massive cover-up about where COVID-19 originated while serving as the top physician leading the country through quarantine in 2020. Food and Drugs Administration Commissioner Marty Makary hit Fauci with the intense claims during an appearance on the Wednesday, November the 26th episode of Miranda Devine's Podforce One podcast. Makary insisted that Fauci made an extreme effort to hush the theory that COVID-19 came from a research lab in China. One thing that's extremely obvious that very few people realise, and certainly hardly anyone in the medical establishment where this lady comes from realised, is that Fauci was involved in a massive cover-up of the origins of COVID, a massive cover-up the former Johns Hopkins School of Medicine professor alleged. He continued whether or not he was involved in the experiments or funding the experiments that led to the origins of COVID. He clearly was 100% involved in the cover-up. FDA Commissioner claims Dr. Anthony Fauci's pardon was related to the COVID-19 cover-up. He was pardoned by Joe Biden, and Trump doesn't think that, them type of pardons are valid. Makary cited former President Joe Biden's pardon of Fauci in December 24, which covered any offences he committed between January 24 and the date it was signed, and claimed it was related to the doctor's alleged role in the COVID-19 cover-up. Only recently, Fauci take it to the next level of using science as political propaganda. Anyway, the story goes on, doesn't it? I mean, I think it's very terrible. And another story, and I mean, and this, one death's bad enough. But what gets me is, they want to fight over it. But basically, breaking news in the last few hours: the the FDA in America claims COVID shots killed 10 children and vows new vaccine rules. Vaccine experts said the memo was irresponsible and that it admits key details about how officials arrived at the conclusion. The director of the Food and Drug Administration Vaccine Division told agency staff in the memo that an internal review found that at least 10 children died after and because of receiving the COVID vaccine. The 3,000-word memo obtained by NBC News was written by Dr. Vinay Prasad, director of the FDA Center for Biologics Evaluation Research. Prasad said that the agency staff determined that no fewer than 10 of 96 child deaths reported to the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, or VAERS, between 21 and 24 were related to COVID vaccines. He said the true number could be higher, accusing the agency of ignoring the safety concerns for years. The memo sent Friday did not include the children's ages, medical histories, timelines, or documentations. That's what they're moaning about. But we know this vaccine kills people. We know one child dead, one adult dead is one too much. We know our governments wanted to treat people as experiments. We can't prove it, and we'll probably get told off for conspiracy theories. But yeah, I believe vaccines are linked to autism too. I can't say too much, but I had personal experience of this, and of course, you know. I mean, another one 10 days ago, the CDC said link between autism and vaccines have been ignored. Yeah, well, some people obviously say vaccines are not linked to autism, but Dr. Andrew Wakefield, he's the leading doctor in vaccines. Definitely had him on the show before now. So, yeah, please like and comment and do the usual. You can email me if you want to take part in the show. Like, share, comment on YouTube, please. And subscribe if you wish. It's free of charge. As I say in my other videos, this is not about the money. This is about telling the truth, getting an opinion, and basically raising awareness. If you save one person's life or help one person, then it's been worth it. I'm not going to make no money out of YouTube. I just want to raise awareness. Right. God bless and have a nice